Hi everyone. We are in Lebanon, Indiana today with one of my very favorite quilter friends and quilt shop owners. I thought it might be fun if I interviewed this gal. Her name is Connie Lancaster, and she owns Quilts Plus. And she has been in the quilt shop business for a very long time, and she's been a quilter for a long time. So we're going to find out a little bit more about Connie and about owning a quilt shop and whatever else we can find out about this. So, Connie, tell us about how you got started or your history in quilting.
Okay. Back in the early 80s, a friend of mine, we were both young married girls, and we were looking for activities to do together, and my friend said she wanted to take a quilting class. And I said, I don't want to learn how to quilt. My mom does all that stuff. My mom sews everything. I don't want to learn. She goes, I need someone to go with me. Okay, so we signed up for a quilt class. And there were the two of us girls, and there were two older ladies in there. And we thought, oh my goodness, what did we get ourselves into? Well, we made a cute little hand-pieced tote bag. Everything was handwork on the tote bag. And I kept that tote bag for quite a while, but then I didn't do anything else with quilting for some time until we moved here to Indiana in the late 80s. And I was looking for a job that I could do that didn't take up all my time, but gave me a little bit of spending money. And so I got into sewing piecework for some people around here. And then was hired at Quilts Plus in 1994. Started just cutting fabric and working out on the shop floor, and then pretty soon I was teaching and then doing a lot of other behind-the-scene tasks to help run the shop. So in 2017, when Jeannie Moosey, who owned the shop, wanted to retire, she and I talked about it, and I decided to go ahead and purchase the shop. So it's mine now.
So it's been a long time.
Yeah, the shop itself started in 1977.
I bet you've learned a lot about owning a shop and about quilting as far as what goes and what may not go as well.
Right.
Which, on a sort of a similar subject, what would be your favorite kind of quilt to make?
Okay. Well, right now I am into modern quilts. Okay. For so long I did traditional quilting, and thimbleberries was a big thing when I was at the point where that was in its heyday. I did a lot of that, but in the past several years I have become a fan of modern quilting. And the quilts that I do now are mostly easier quilts to accomplish in a short amount of time. I particularly love the quilting part of quilts. So I like to do the actual quilting. So a lot of times I'll take off and I'll do fancy quilting and put a lot of quilting on some of my quilts. And that's the part that I really love.
As you can see, we're sitting in front of her quilting long arm machine. Yep. And I know you quilt a lot too on your traditional home machine, don't you?
Yeah, I do some, but not as much now that I have, minute to minute access to my long arm.
Yeah.
I can pop in here and quilt on the long arm, which is so much easier than doing it on the domestic machine. But I still like to do every once in a while a quilt on my domestic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's a great thing. It's so nice that everybody that you see or meet in quilting has a different thing that they really like. Because the quilting would be one of my less favorite things to do.
Right. Which keeps us long armers in business.
Yes. and there are people that really love to, just sit and sew squares together. They get more fun out of that.
Right.
I think everybody's just got a little bit different thing that they love, which is
find
great.
a lot of quilters don't like the cutting part. To me, that's one of my favorite parts because I'm starting something new.
Yeah. Yes,
I have that excitement of getting into a new project. And I have refined my cutting techniques so that I've pared down the process enough to be efficient.
Yes.
Because, doing it as a professional, you have to be as efficient as possible to make it worth
Your time.
doing.
Yeah.
So I feel like my processes have made it so efficient that it becomes more fun to do.
Uh-huh.
So I enjoy the cutting. Piecing to me is just getting the project done, and then I get to do the quilting.
Right.
And binding is, okay, I gotta finish.
Yeah. Well, I can watch TV while
I gotta
I'm doing
finish.
that. Okay. Well, hold on one second so I can get to question number 3. What is the best part of owning a quilt shop?
Oh, without a doubt, the customers.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, good.
Yes. I have such great customers that come in. I've got people who have been shopping with Quilts Plus for years, since even I was involved with the store. And then I've got people who come in and say, hey, I've been thinking that I want to start quilting, and, I think I'm ready to do that. So brand new quilters who've been around for a while, my customers are the best part.
Well, I wouldn't have thought of that, but I think that would probably be the best part. Yeah, meeting all these people that you love something, you both love the same things. So it's a fun day. What's the hardest part?
It's a fun time when a customer comes in, whether they're picking out a new project or just, looking for that perfect red print to go with what they've brought with them. But yeah, the customers are the best part. The hardest part is just keeping up with all the little tasks that have to be accomplished. Because I am, for the most part, here by myself, although I do have great help from my husband and my daughter, still I'm the one who's accomplishing everything. So if a kit needs to be made, I'm the one that needs to make that kit. If it's, social media posting, that's one of the hardest things I have to do. What topic am I going to talk about today? I need to get it done in the prime time so as many people will look at it as possible. And yeah, I think the small little things that build up are...
And keep you from doing the quilting.
Right, exactly. I'd rather be on the quilting machine than on Facebook.
And making kits.
Yeah, and making kits just has to be done. So... I do that when I have to and get them out there so that they're ready for people to come when they get in here.
People love kits.
Yes.
Do you have any tips for brand new quilters when they come in or when you just meet them?
Yes. So depending on what they're looking for, one of my best tips for a brand new quilter is to get some classes. No matter how you learn, whether it's, watching YouTube videos or having someone there in person with you, which is my favorite my favorite way to learn. A lot of people just can't start. They need some guidance, so you need to know how to, what tools are, what the terms are, what the definitions of processes are. So yeah, the best thing that I can tell a new quilter is to get some classes and then start with something simple.
Good.
Always choose the best that you can afford, whether that's tools or fabric. Get the best that you can afford, because it's not worth your time to struggle with things that aren't the best, and it's not worth your efforts to put into fabrics that aren't going to hold up or act like they should, and then you have a struggle with those fabrics because you're just learning and don't realize it's not you. It's the fabric. So get some classes, find someone who can give you some good advice.
And you can always learn. I mean, even if you've been quilting for 20 years or 30 years.
Absolutely.
When you take classes, you still will learn something from somebody.
Yeah, even if it's through just a back and forth conversation about a topic that's maybe not even the actual subject of the class. There's always something that comes up, and it's like, oh, I heard this tip. And, I usually do this, and, well, what if we tried it this way? And, yeah, there's a lot of ways that you can learn. And getting with other quilters who are doing what you love to, it just feeds your soul as well as theirs.
That's exactly true.
Yeah.
This concludes part 1 of the interview with Connie Lancaster of Quilts Plus. Stay tuned, there's a part 2 coming soon.